Although it's said that reality TV is unpredictable, nothing could have prepared viewers for the explosive moment when Mena's scathing attack against two of Love and the most reputable hip-hop artists in Atlanta engaged in a private altercation. In the dressing room that was surreptitiously captured and promptly posted online, Erica fired a barrage of scathing comments at Mendeecees, Harris, and Kirk Frost, denouncing them in the most severe ways possible, and doubting their moral character as black males in hip-hop culture. Emotions were running high. When Kirk, clearly surprised, attempted to defend himself, he was confronted by Erica's ruthless charges. Men, who has always presented a calm public persona, stormed out of the room in shock, leaving the team frantically trying to. Fans are stunned that a seasoned cast member would jeopardize everything by crossing such a combustible line. Producers intervened as reports circulated that Erica would soon be fired, declaring that this outrageous outburst will not air since it is in violation of the network's norms. But viewers aren't taking it lying down. The family was split up, gossip blogs went viral, and there is a lot of conjecture on social media about whether Erica's career will endure this criticism or if she has been irreparably damaged. You won't want to miss this dispute, Eric, so keep. Backstage at the Atlanta Convention Center, Mena's tantrum started like a slow-burning fire in that little hot dressing room. Convention Center, as she paced back and forth, the lights above flickered. Kirk Frost and Mindy Harris had arrived, and she spoke in a low, shaking voice filled with wrath. Just moments before, after a cast meeting in which tensions were already high due to storyline leaks and personal betrayals, no one approaching, fans had gathered outside the building chanting Erica's name for the first time and displaying signs calling for Kirk and Mendeecees to receive justice. Social media influencers live-streamed outside the studio gates, making predictions about Erica's future. One well-known inside the site, the blogger said, "This is the end of Erica Mena on LOL." Erica grimaced as the executive producer strode in his face and said, "The network just told me that they believe the language you used is inappropriate and that you will not be appearing in any further episodes." Erica's eyes widened as she screamed, "You can't do that to me." Her voice trembled. "Against everything we stand for." "I'm sorry," the producer said firmly. "They don't want the controversy. You're off the program." Mendeecees and Kirk exchanged words as Erica sank into a chair. Expressions of relief and sadness and Outburst had now shattered the ties they had fostered on the show. That would go down as one of the most explosive scenes in the franchise. The last scene was staged while the cameras rolled. Cast members watched in awe as producers escorted Erica off stage. And in Kirk and Mendeecees' view, standing together in solidarity, the chapter was closed. But Erica's unexpected outburst didn't stop the consequences from starting. It exploded on social media like a bomb inside the studio, shaking the walls. Minutes of the leaked video that appeared on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter were bombarded with screenshots of her remarks. And fans were furious, using hashtags like #BlackUnity and #ProtectorCulture, denounce Halshound's remarks on one tick. With the description, "When someone forgets," the TikTok maker lip-synced the audio back. Fundamental human decency. While another shared a mashup of Erica's tirade and old videos of civil rights demonstrations, the extent to which her remarks deviated from any appropriate conversation. In the meantime, Facebook groups devoted to talking about reality TV drama exploded with thousands of posts on the Atlanta Drama Daily closed group. Users argued on whether firing an Erica One member was the network's only option. Wrote, "This is about accountability, not cancel culture." She crossed as someone else countered, "Why give her more airtime when removing her is the only way to?" Fans tagged Kirk Frost on Instagram stories to preserve the show's integrity. And Harris from Mendeecees' direct call for them to speak out for Kirk's wife, Tiffany, reposted a statement from Kirk's official Instagram account. "I'm pleased with Kirk's behavior. He remained composed, and despite being assaulted, he remains respectable. and our family supports him." The post was made promptly, received hundreds of encouraging comments and tens of thousands of likes. A fan remarked, "Kirk, you displayed incredible fortitude in the face of adversity. No one deserves that type of disdain." He was sitting at his home office, with the soothing lighting creating a cozy hiss. Voice wavered a little as he started. "I've always thought that people can grow and be saved, but some things cannot be justified." Erica's remarks greatly wounded me, not only as a co-star, but also as I'm thankful for the support that fans and family have shown me as a man who has fought hard to restore his life. He paused. "I forgive, but I will remember that our community deserves better public service," he continued. Fans weren't the only ones who responded. Industry experts also shared their thoughts in an anonymous comment on a Hollywood entertainment blog. A former network executive said, "This type of racism, particularly from someone who is meant to be a strong Black woman and an embodiment of empowerment, is indefensible. Networks must respond quickly to safeguard their reputation as well as their brand, also to demonstrate support for their abilities." Meanwhile, Erica's management staff rushed to maintain control of the harm in a succinct statement to the media. Erica's manager, David Cole, since her remarks were unacceptable, "We have advised her to sincerely apologize and take time for she is aware of the seriousness of her behavior and is determined to make things right." The press release also highlighted a planned community involvement project that Erica would oversee with the goal of fostering cultural harmony, and despite the idea for an apology, some of Erica's devoted fans felt deceived in her fan-only private group conversation. One fan bemoaned, "I loved her brave demeanor, yet this was careless, and I can't defend what she claimed she needed to be thoughtful before responding." Another person said, "Sorry is one thing, but the damage is completed. How would you mend such a thing?" Corporate sponsors even got in. All promotions were instantly halted by an athleisure business that had collaborated with Erica on a limited edition apparel line. "We do not condone or tolerate hate speech of any kind," a representative for the firm declared. A luxury beauty. Additionally, the corporation said, "We stand in solidarity," and canceled a scheduled collab with our multicultural community and is unable to proceed in current conditions. Erica, meanwhile, withdrew from public view. Her Instagram went silent with only one pinned comment and no updates or stories. "I'm taking a break to learn, grow, and listen." Her phone lines were apparently inundated with calls from her family. Friends and coworkers are urging her to get professional assistance before making any more pronouncements. How producers called a crisis meeting at the network's headquarters? Well, there were discussions on editing future episodes to eliminate all traces of Erica or to provide a unique message. The ultimate choice was to film a staged cast in order to confront the problem head-on. Joanne Mona Scott would lead a conversation about accountability, race, and respect during the reunion special. It was a brave step to convert a private dispute into a public discussion. Members of Kirk and Mendeecees families also came forward, including Shirley, Kirk's mother. In a tearful interview with a local Atlanta television station, Frost said, "My son has always been a gentleman and a good example. So hearing such remarks about him broke my heart," she stated. When Mindy sees his emotions, she says, "I'm thankful the network chose to protect him and stand with the community." Speaking to a national radio show, Mother Dorothy Harris said, "My son made mistakes in the past, but he's created a new life." Erica's outburst jeopardized all he had worked so hard to achieve. "I want people to understand that despite his errors, he is a devoted husband and father." The fallout even made it to The Spice, posted an update on her that was shared by the cast's friends and wider community. Instagram is calling for togetherness while separating hate. This is more important. We are discussing respect for one another as human beings, not amusement. In the midst of all of this, fans complimented her composed reaction, describing it as elegant and poised under pressure. During an emergency meeting with her own family, Erica's sister Chanel begged in a voicemail that was released, "Please stop, we love you, but the world is watching you when you're filming videos. Come home and talk to us, and things are getting worse." I imagine Erica's mother sobbed when she told in an attempt to restore her reputation. Erica started co-hosting an event to get her daughter to consider the legacy she wanted to leave. Letter of apology intending to give a percentage of her profits to civil rights groups. But others close to her claim that she occasionally resorted to defensive justifications because she found it difficult to feel true regret. One source disclosed she continues to say, "I was annoyed." And it just seemed like that justification is focusing on two diligent men because they are Black. In the meantime, supporters keep analyzing every detail. A conspiracy theory said that producers gave her misleading despite being unverified information about Kirk and Mendeecees' intention to stir up trouble. These theories gained popularity on fringe sites, further distorting the facts. The message was clear across all platforms. Racism had no place, not even in the realm of dramatic reality television. It was unclear if Erica's career could audiences endure this tempest, accept her apologies, and allow her to come back. When the second portion of this saga ends, had she irreparably harmed her reputation? Erica's panel position and the network's unprecedented emphasis on accountability as they get ready to air the reunion special is glaringly barren. A quiet reminder of the price of words in Part 3 will examine the ramifications from Erica's reunion, legal alternatives, and if her supporters will support her or abandon her permanently. The tension backstage was evident as the reunion special drew near. Cameras rolled as the cast gathered in the similar purple-lit studio, but one chair was noticeably missing from. Erica's producers had made the decision to confront her absence directly, presenting it as an accountability statement. The show's executive producer, Mona Scott, began the section with a sobering caution. The audience whispered, "Tonight, we confront the cost of words and actions." Seeing the seriousness of the situation, Kirk Frost sat next to Mendeecees and observed their stance. Both were clothed in subdued hues, which stood in sharp contrast to the stiff but determined typical reunion glam. The lights went down, and Erica's tirade was montaged, played on the enormous screen behind them, her stern words resonating with her irate, contorted facial features. Her voice is uncensored in the studio, with no cutaway to astonished faces during the laughter track, was utterly quiet. When the video concluded, Mama looked to Kirk and asked, "How did you feel?" She said softly, "When did you hear this?" Kirk paused to gather himself. Hurt? Silently, he expressed relief that the network did not mainstream that behavior, which let me grasp how brittle the audience cheered, sending a wave of unity through the room. Mendeecees inhaled deeply. "I've been trying to repair my life for years, rewrite my tale after being incarcerated." Hearing those remarks made me realize how easily we can revert to our previous narratives. But some viewers wiped tears from their eyes, but I refused to let hate stop me from forgiving others. Swally talked, and then Mona spoke to the elephant in the room, the absence of Erica. Mona stated in a firm voice that Erica declined our invitation to join us tonight, engage in taking direct accountability to her fans and peers. Refused. As the camera moved to the empty spot where Erica would have been sitting, murmurs echoed throughout the live stream. Backstage audience, Erica observed from a tiny screen in a changing room. Erica's boss hovered close by with foam in hand, prepared to step in if necessary. Her face was pallid and haunted. She couldn't stop playing the montage in her head. To turn away from whatever she said, which reverberated around the studio, and the social media users showered the reunion program's live discussion with encouragement. Trending, #BlackUnity and #LHHATL responsibility for Kirk and Mendeecees another. The hashtag where Era gained popularity among viewers who were interested in hearing her perspective. expressed dissatisfaction about her absence. If you have the guts to say those things, you'll have the guts to face the repercussions, another person said, adding Erica's silence speaks volumes. During a commercial break, Kirk and Mendeecees gathered in the green room with their families. Kirk's wife, Tiffany, gave him a squeeze. She whispered, "You did great," and Kirk nodded, his eyes blazing with passion. Many notices his wife, Yandi, smiles tightly. "Our family is more important than anything else, than any drama," she remarked, leaning her head against his shoulder. When the reunion came back to life, Mama turned to talk about Erica's, she said. "We've heard from numerous networks regarding future reality endeavors. Several were interested in casting Erica in other productions, but the majority have retracted their offers following this incident." The audience exclaimed, "It's a reminder that decisions have real-world repercussions beyond television." Reporters and fans gathered outside the studio to speculate on Erica's next move. Erica has burned. A reality TV pundit was interviewed by a local news crew. "Reality TIFF thrives on controversy, but there's a bridge here," he observed. She reached the threshold. The atmosphere in Erica's house was tense. Erica nodded when softly pressed. "If you want to save your career, you have to show real remorse and make tangible amends." She said, "I'll do whatever it takes," while wiping away her tears. Yvette nodded, but in the meantime, Erica's legal counsel was evidently doubtful. Examined their options and discussed whether to file a defamation lawsuit against the production, alleging that the Rant footage had been altered or misrepresented, one lawyer countered. "We can claim entrapment or another warrant if we can demonstrate that the producers manipulated the Rant. We may have a case, unaltered and in her own words." Bringing this up could backfire and make her appear defensive. Erica issued a pre-recorded apologetic video in the days after the reunion. Wearing a white blouse against a neutral backdrop, she talked gently. "I sincerely apologize for the hurt my remarks have caused Kirk, Mendeecees, and our community. She started by letting my rage get in the way of my judgment. I accept full responsibility, and I'm determined to improve my listening skills." The apology received a range of responses. Some fans embraced it and praised me for using my platform to promote unity rather than divisiveness. One person wrote, "It takes courage to apologize," while others stayed. "After you uttered such things," another person said, "skeptical words are cheap." A well-known blogger polled people about whether Erica should be given another chance, and 60% said no. Additionally, sponsors took into account the beauty and athleisure brands, who stated they would only take into restoring collaborations following Erica's community service and diversity education. Erica's group declared that she would be speaking about the effects of racism and hate speech at a nearby high school. While some commended the project, while some called it a publicity gimmick. In the larger context of TIV, other cast members expressed their opinions, while Spice shared a thought-provoking message on growth. Originates from responsibility. Let's let everyone discover. Bambi posted a short clip lauding these posts, which emphasized the need for limits and forgiveness. Kept the discussion going as fans analyzed every detail. Late one evening, Erica sat by herself in a tiny studio that she had rented for an anticipated podcast. Return, her producer captured her practicing a moving monologue that I would want to discuss. Mending regarding the fact that words can cause more pain than a fist. But her voice broke and she halted, and she began to question whether this was the best course of action or whether there was another way to further the situation by revealing that Kirk and Mendy were having discussions, according to reality TV insiders, to use the momentum from the collaborative spin-off series centered on constructive community projects to a working title was alluded to by a network executive in a scandal to showcase Black achievement. Rising above the noise, fans were aware of the irony of Erica's divisive tirade. As the third chapter of our story comes to a close, Erica finds herself at a crossroads. Will her reputation be restored by her apology and community service? Or will the industries in the meantime? Kirk and Mendeecees' hopes of redemption are overshadowed by the memory of her remarks. Get ready for their new endeavor, ready to transform suffering into meaning. In our last segment, Part 4, we'll explore the spin-off's development, Erica's legal battle, and if the cast's broken bonds can ever be repaired after the turmoil. From the reunion subsided, Erica's legal options became the next front in this story. In a downtown Atlanta office with walls covered in framed degrees and legal tomes, an attorney called a strategy meeting. Erica sat uncomfortably at the big mahogany table, drumming her fingers while her counsel presented two potential strategies. The first was a defamation lawsuit alleging provocation and selective editing against the producers. The second was a public relations pact that prioritizes harm mitigation over legal disputes if we went to court, and her lead lawyer started off calmly. We run the danger of more unwelcome exposure. Your voice appears in the unedited clip, and the defense will highlight the uncut film. We would need to demonstrate tampering or entrapment, which is challenging given network protocols. He took a moment to process what he had said, and Erica looked at him with her boss Faith, who had a hopeful yet nervous expression on her face. Her co-counsel continued, "It could be smarter to work out a deal with the network. Find a compromise that will allow you to return under tight conditions. Perhaps following sensitivity training, the network has legal justification to terminate your contract completely, although they might also want a more subdued approach." Instead of a lengthy argument, Erica's voice trembled as she said, I wish I hadn't said those things, but I want to battle the network and prove that I can develop and learn. Debate into something constructive, energy-filled brainstorming. Sessions focused on the tentative, the idea behind the series. Rising above the noise was straightforward but impactful. Two men who were put through public trials. One would actually and one would figuratively cross. Communities highlighting community-based programs that train young people and honor Black greatness. Kirk, and in a bright conference room with a view of the Atlanta skyline, Mendeecees met with showrunners. Kirk reclined in his chair. The seriousness of recent events tempers the exhilaration. Yet this could be our opportunity to use our platform for genuine change, murmured gently. Mindy nodded, his face determined. We've been humbled. Given what we endured, we owe it to our families and supporters to transform suffering into meaning. Screenplays were written, and Erica, a pilot scout, started her own path by enrolling in a well-known class on cultural sensitivity. At a neighborhood nonprofit, every session had her face the consequences of her words. She took part in moderated discussions around racism and diversity, heard testimonies from local leaders and power, and even helped organize a young seminar on unity and respect. Experience was eye-opening and humbling. One evening following a particularly tearful workshop, Erica, the night air felt cold on her skin as she stood outside the community center and spoke softly to a small group of "I came here to learn because my comments hurt individuals I respect. And I've come to see that anger isn't an excuse for hatred, but I'm determined to improve and use my voice to heal." Her honesty resonated. Later, guests came up to her and told her personal tales of pain and forgiveness. Back in the filming for the spin-off pilot of Kirk and Mendeecees took place in South Atlanta. Kirk mentored a group of teenagers in the community where a grassroots nonprofit was teaching them financial literacy. Of pupils on entrepreneurship and budgeting, Mendy recalls his own early financial difficulties, which led to a seminar on resilience and goal setting that compares his years of life. Reconstruction after real-life moments were filmed by jail cameras. A teenage girl cuddling Kirk. A young kid praising Mendeecees for believing in her when she landed her first summer job. The producers inserted these positive moments, including open talks with Kirk and Mendeecees discussing the recent situation. Kirk acknowledged we couldn't have predicted such an attack, but it served as a reminder of the significance of Mendeecees. Echoed the idea, saying, "We're using this to stand together." Chance to demonstrate that progress is achievable despite challenges. Audiences eagerly anticipated the spin-off's debut as expectation grows on social media, with the hashtag rising above the noise during LA repeats. Promotional advertisements highlighted the series' comparison to typical reality drama, real stories of community. No cheesy antics atonement in the meantime. Erika's group negotiated her return with the network, offering a unique one-time showing. How she changed by going to classes and volunteering at community gatherings and making amends with people she had harmed, the network was hesitantly open to the possibility of recover a narrative and show responsibility. Final approval was pending. Erika finished her fundraising and training obligations during these changes. The chemistry within the original cast started to change. Erika received private messages from a number, and Bambi texted, I'm pleased with you for taking responsibility for your errors. If you need help, I'm available. Spice shared an encouraging remark on a news story. We all make mistakes, but what counts is progress. Carly read that some people were still doubtful, but welcome back when you're ready. She chose to remain neutral and make no public statements while involved in her own legal disputes. Others, such as Yandandy and Sierra Gates, closely observed to determine whether Erika's recovery was sincere. Erika entered an agreement as part of the negotiating process. Nervously, she was welcomed by producers and network officials and gave a thorough, organized, 5-part Words Matter mini-documentary series that focuses on how she listed community partners, guest speakers, and the ways that language can both hurt and help. Fundraising objectives, her voice was full of conviction and her passion was evident. Mona Scott talked throughout her presentation. We value your initiative, Erika. Can be a useful gift, but you need to restore trust and your behavior. The conference concluded with a conditional agreement that will speak louder than words if, after completing her obligations over the following 6 months, Erika would be qualified to resume her mentorship role at LHHATL, directing cast members on cultural awareness and conflict resolution. As news of this, fans' reactions to the deal leak were divided. Some praised the chance. Others were cautious, tweeting for atonement. We all deserve second chances. Before bringing her back, let's see if she follows through. The network issued a brief statement recognizing the collaboration with Erika and highlighting the project's emphasis on the community in the weeks that followed. Erika speaking to students and doing workshops at schools and community centers. Footage of her work circulated online. She established a scholarship foundation in Kirk and Mendeecees, names to recognize their sincere efforts. Unintentionally playing a part in motivating her path, she personally awarded the first scholarship to a bright student in Kirk and Mendeecees. Witness snippets of Erika's community service on an LAL set. Kirk spoke softly on a monitor while she was walking. It's difficult to forget, yet Mendy nods, adding forgiveness, which is encouraging to witness genuine improvement. This does not erase the past. As part 4, as our story comes to an end, we discover a broken cast figuring out how to deal with the difficulties of responsibility and redemption. Erika's future is in jeopardy. Her career depends on consistent action rather than hollow assurances. Kirk and Mendeecees have turned hardship into a springboard for good, their spin-off exemplifying the fortitude they have fought for the last chapter, which will see these entwined paths come together in a victorious reunion. Or will the wounds of war prove too severe to mend? Stay tuned as we prepare the ending and make the call to action clear so that viewers know what to do next. Enduring tale as the smoke clears on what could be the most astounding in Atlanta's history of hip-hop and romance. One thing is certain, words have power. And Erika Mena's tirade at Mendeecees Harris and Kirk Frost shocked emotions ran high as alliances were formed between the characters, the city, and your screens. The network took a stand that no one saw, and the family was left apart. You saw Kirk and Mendeecees transform suffering into meaning in their upcoming spin-off. Rising above the noise, and Erika's path from criticism to responsibility developed in real time. However, the crucial question is still whether a single apology And group effort can actually repair the harm caused by a vicious tirade. We've seen fans withdraw, sponsors withdraw, and careers hang in the balance. Bombard social media with cautious hope and outrage, saying things like "private family, please," "cooperate," declarations, and the reunion special, that bravely tackled the consequences in this day of immediate celebrity and even quicker anger. But only time will tell if Erika's remarks will be viewed as an irreparable error or as a trigger for real development, and if Kirk and Mendeecees are this story's real heroes. Now it's your time. What do you think? Believe that Erika should have been given more time to explain herself? Or that the network was correct to shut her off right away? Do you think her community service and apology are genuine or just another publicity gimmick? And are you thrilled to watch Kirk and Mendeecees take the lead movement in their spin-off series? If you find this story as amazing as we do, then hit the like and subscribe buttons. More behind-the-scenes drama, and ring the bell to ensure you don't miss our next in-depth analysis. Leave a comment with your ideas. What surprised you the most? And if you have any predictions for the upcoming chapter, please share them with us. I'll see you in the next video, where there is always drama and no end in sight.